and welcome to Six Figure Signature Offers, the podcast for women in business who want to create brands that become the hot tamale of their industry and sold out scalable offers that bring home the bacon without burning them out. I'm your host, online business strategist Robin Birkin. I've gone from managing 8-figure marketing budgets and big teams to creating 2 multi-6-figure businesses in part-time hours by design. If you're ready to attract Cloud9 clients in droves, sell out your scalable offers, and not bring your laptop to the beach, then welcome, let's go. So excited to take you on just a teeny bit of behind the scenes of how I am running my business at the moment that is seeing me through the chaos of the renovation and now this border collie puppy. If you have not seen, are incredibly cute, but completely maniac border collie puppy. You have to come and follow me on Instagram. And I don't know, must be crazy that we were in the middle of the renovation and we were like, you know what, we've had a puppy on our list for the longest time. Let's just go ahead and do it. I've been dating my husband since we were in our teens, and we have always grown up with dogs in our household. But when we were in our early 20s, we worked such long hours that we really didn't feel like we had the capacity to have a dog. And I'm talking like I used to leave home at 6 a.m. and get home at 7 p.m. every night. And that wouldn't be fair for a dog to be left alone all of that time. And then just as life has gone on, like a couple of years after we, sort of had the conversation of, we're dog people, but no, it's not for us. I went out and got a cat that I rescued. And a couple of years after that, I felt like she was lonely, even though supposedly cats are solitary animals. And then I went and got another cat, and cats live for like 20 years. So 19 years later, at 44 years old, one of our cats, Abby, who was like dream pet, passed away in September, which was super sad, but also then opened up the space for us to consider what life might look like now that our lives are in a very different place, with me working from home all of the time, with us having 2 kids, whether the time was right for us to be able to get a dog. And it started off with us just putting our names down on wait lists, etc. But then it very quickly felt to me a bit like a full-time job, trying to apply for all these puppies and like a job application, like we're a great family and we're really active and this and that, and scour the website for who might be taking the wait list and who might have puppies coming up. And so I was like, you know what, actually this ends here. Let's just get the puppy. And I've got to be really honest with you. I've spoken in my mastermind about it. I've spoken about it on Instagram. I think I underestimated just how full on a puppy would be, especially a border collie. They're notoriously smart. They are also working dogs. Like my dog is used to, in his genetics, herd sheep, like all day long, from sunrise to sunset. So he needs a job all of the time. He is active all the time. He wants to go for walks, even though he's just a little 3.5-month-old puppy. So it has been so ridiculously full on. And I have been so grateful that this year I really considered how I could build differently. And it's almost an extension of last year, but this year is the year that I finally feel like I'm finding my groove, getting it all together. Whereas last year it felt quite, almost like a tinge, I wouldn't say burnout, but just a tinge of feeling like I'd been slapped in the face by, again, the diminished work ability that the renovation had caused. Like every day, tradespeople at our house, the internet being shut off, having to navigate trades, get quotes, go and visit showrooms, all of that took last year so much out of my business. Then I felt like I found the groove, then we got a puppy. But I've already felt like I was cooking with gas and building differently this year. So many of the women I work with in my mastermind are specifically attracted to working with me in Peace and Profit for the fact that my brain is all about how we as women can build differently. The women I support inside the mastermind, not exclusively, so we definitely have a range of women in the mastermind. However, a lot of us are part of the sandwich generation. We have kids, whether they're little or teenagers, and then on the flip side, we also have aging parents and we're supporting them as well. We are ambitious. Some of us are the eldest daughter. We've had really great careers and we've been really great at what we're doing. And now we recognize through the wisdom of where we're at now that actually we don't want to spend our entire lives working 60-hour weeks, whether that's in corporate or whether that's through running our own businesses. And there is this craving to build differently. And then we start to build our businesses and we get online, we're established, we're 3 to 5 years in, and we've kind of seen how many options there are. We've seen so many other people online building their businesses, and we've seen other women out there who are ambitious but so completely burnt out, and then they end up burning down their businesses. They have, these big Instagram posts where they're like, oh my God, I couldn't get out of bed, or I had a panic attack or an anxiety attack. And, they've got big teams, big responsibility. And for many of the women that I work with, they're like, I actually don't want a big team. I don't want $50,000 or more of expenses every single month, or even just like starting each month already knowing that you're on the line to pay out $50,000 in taxes and team and just co-coaches, all of that. They don't want that. We want our businesses to feel like one of the easiest parts of our lives. And there's been a conscious decision to say, I know that path number 1 can be wildly successful. And I consciously choose path number 2 that is my version of success, which also includes peace as well as profit. That is the name of the program. And so I thought in today's episode, I would speak to a little bit of exactly what that looks like for me in this season. Now that I am, just woke up at the start of this year and I was like, amidst 2 businesses, because we also run a construction business, 2 children, a renovation, how can we add more chaos into our lives? Let's add a puppy. So let me speak a little bit about some of the ways that I am really looking at my business and building differently, because I want that to inspire you. And I also want you to feel like, oh my God, it is actually possible to do things a little bit more your way. So number 1 is I want my business to be able to operate more efficiently and effectively without me. So even if I cannot show up consistently, like at my desk to work, how can my business still keep ticking along? So a lot of what I have been leaning into is not necessarily AI. It is automations. And I will die on the hill that automations will probably save your business more than AI. It will be more of a game changer than AI. And in actual fact, I would even go so far as to say that in order to keep up with all of the AI advances right now, it almost needs to become a full-time job. And that most of what you are doing and spending your time with in AI is possibly a waste of time. So if you are someone who is AI curious, you want to dive into AI, you're like, oh my God, I'm being left behind. Let me firmly reassure you that you are not. It is just something that is within the sphere almost of like online business at the moment. And by and large, the vast majority of people across the world, even in Western countries, have never opened ChatGPT or Claude before ever in their lives, right? It's like an online thing, and it's all of this viral content that's like, Claude just killed PowerPoint, that is making you feel behind. But by and large, like, answer this question for me. Is the time that you are spending in AI and sitting around messing about in Claude, continually just asking all of these prompts, is that actually creating more and meaningful revenue for you in your business? So answer me that question. If the answer is no, you're like, oh, actually it might be a time waster. It might actually be costing me money rather than making me money. That's an aha moment right there. Cut it down, cut around all of your like prompting and messing about to like 1 or 2 hours on a Monday or a Friday. But what will save your business is automations. And dare I say it, funnels. They don't need to be complicated. They can be really, really simple. I have what I call a cascade funnel. We finish one automated email sequence with some other little automations that happen, and then we go into another, and it's tag based. So it can be really simple. You build it once and then you don't need to do it all of the time. So if you're like, how do I show up in my audience's email list 1, 2, 3 times per week consistently? My answer to you is, if you're already creating content and you already have a bank of content, well, where can you automate that? And that's where a space that I've been sitting in a lot this year. And holy freaking shirt balls, it has saved me not only so much time, but so much of my sanity. It is definitely the goal to almost build out like one piece of the pie for that every single week, knowing that I only have to do it once, and it's once and done. And then it's going to enable me to continue showing up repetitively, even if I am busy, even if I get caught up, even if something happens in my life. So leaning into so much automations and building out simple funnels into my business. Number 2 is, and this is something I'm bullish about, I swear I've been speaking about this all the time on the podcast, is sales segue events. I have run 3 and I've got 2 more webinars. They are more workshop based, so it's a lot more sort of like execution and implementation based rather than like here's an aha moment. But I have run 3 of the same workshop, and I am here to optimize and refine and rinse and repeat. And I'm like blown away. I'm calling it the rolling and regulated funnel. Not everything I do in business turns to glitter right away. And I think there's a huge misconception, a lot of pressure that we put on ourselves for it to be that way. And so there are definitely things that I want to improve and refine as part of the rolling and regulated funnel. Everyone in my mastermind is getting taken along for the ride of like, here's what I'm changing this week. Here are the edits we're making. Here's what the data's telling me. But I am so in love with this process, especially when, like stuff's happening. I'm living my life. I'm on my phone or walking the dog or, at school pickup more than I am sitting at a computer right now. So how does my business get to fit into my life? And how does my business get to work more from my phone than having to be chained to my desk, right? So another way that I am building differently is really looking at how I can use less software rather than more. So if you know, maybe you don't, I use Kartra as my CRM, my webinar software, in some cases, my page builder for all of my course portals, for all of my tagging, for all of my checkouts. And still, I've been using it since 2018. I am still sold on Kartra as the best platform. When you sign up for Kartra under my affiliate link, I'll include that link in the show notes below. You get access to what I call the Plug and Profit portal. And inside the Plug and Profit portal is a whole ebook on exactly how I use Kartra, all of my hidden ninja secrets, which I guarantee so many people are not doing, as well as some of my pre-built templates and campaigns inside there. But I'm obsessed with less software. So one of the other things that is also blowing my mind that I've been doing this year is I have not been sitting at my computer in all of my podcast software with my fancy podcast microphone recording my podcast. I got a portable Rode mini microphone. It's what I'm recording on now. And I record the podcast using my phone. And then I just DM it to my admin assistant on Slack. She does the rest. How easeful is that, and how easeful does that get to be? The technology that we have available to us now is so much more advanced than what it used to be. And I used to sit there at my laptop. It used to have wonky donkey sound because of the echo and the acoustics of the room. And now I get to casually sit on the sofa in the new pool room recording my podcast, and that feels incredibly easeful for me. And the process is easeful because of the next part, which is that I have built systems and SOPs. How boring is that, but how life-changing is it? When I look at the way that my business runs and trying to remove myself as the bottleneck, automation's amazing, but also systems and SOPs. So when we run the webinar, I do nothing. I let her know that it's finished. She does the rest. I don't have to touch it. I don't have to sit and mess about in Pages. I don't have to sit and mess about in Kartra. I just get to show up for my audience, be like the talent, and then she has the instructions step by step laid out in order to be able to execute that. And likewise with the podcast, she knows exactly what needs to happen with the podcast to edit that to a high quality that I expect. And when I'm looking at my systems and my SOPs, actually I'm recording from my phone. So that means I can record in the pool room, I can record in my car, at school pickup, whatever that is going to look like to fit in with my life is how I'm going to record it. And I have opted out of the narrative that every podcast needs to therefore become a YouTube channel and a highly produced video platform. I don't watch on YouTube at all myself. I am a firm podcast listener, and so are my audience. And so while there is scope potentially later in the year for me to release what I'm calling a capsule video log, at this stage in my business, I roll with the podcast and I produce the podcast consistently. And I spend so much of my time really invested in what topics I'm going to speak to you about in order to, deliver real value. But I get to make the process of recording really simple and doable for my life. So for us as women, it's really important for us to consider that we don't need to build the same way as everyone else. You do not need to have all of the bells and whistles. You do not need to have such a fancy production. You do not need perfect hooks on Instagram. You need what moves the needle and what is going to be the most impactful. And sometimes that is really out of the box, and also letting go of the way that you think things should be done in order to make way for the way that things can be done that are possibly just as effective, if not more effective, and especially if those ways allow you to be really consistent in the way that you show up online. And that is exactly the type of thing that we speak about and do inside my mastermind. If you'd like to know more about the mastermind, but if you would more so like to know what it looks like in terms of the funnels and the offers and the launches and the way that I really simply promote things to my audience and amplify my revenue, you got to come to my next workshop. I only have a few left and we are not going to hold a replay. So if you would like to come to the webinar, head to the show notes below. It's actually very epic. I many times have wondered whether I should be giving away as much as I do, but because I know that you're established in business and you don't want like just fluffy mindset advice, that is why it is super practical and implementable inside the workshop. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. If you have any ninja ways that you are building differently or you would like to hear more, come and reach out to me on Instagram. Let's connect and I would love to speak to you there. All right, bye for now. Have the best day.